What happens when you stop picking up every call, replying to every message, saying yes to every request? What happens when you draw a line, not to punish others, but to protect your peace? Something subtle yet profound takes place. Everything changes. And for the first time, you begin to see who people truly are, and who you truly are, without their expectations shaping your identity. This is the psychology of boundaries, withdrawal, and truth, a lesson that echoes in the depths of Carl Jung's philosophy. 1. The mask we wear. Jung believed we all wear masks, what he called the persona, a social identity crafted to function in the world. We smile when we're tired. We say yes when we mean no. We make ourselves available endlessly, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually, not always out of love, but often out of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being seen as selfish, fear of not being needed. But what if this mask becomes our prison? What if availability becomes an addiction to being liked? You see, always being available doesn't make you noble. It makes you invisible. Because when you give too much, people forget you have limits. And when you're always there, your presence becomes background noise. 2. The cost of constant availability. In a world obsessed with connection, we've mistaken access for intimacy and presence for value. You're praised for how quickly you respond, not how deeply you think. You're rewarded for being accessible, not for being whole. But Jung knew this truth. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that process requires space. When you're constantly available, there's no space to hear your own voice. You become an echo chamber for others' desires, fears, and projections. 3. What changes when you withdraw? When you finally stop, when you become unavailable, the world reacts. Some people get angry, not because you harmed them, but because your absence reveals their dependence. Some fall silent, not out of peace, but because your boundary exposes their entitlement. And some will quietly disappear because they were never connected to you. They were connected to your availability. But amid the noise, something beautiful happens. The people who stay without demand. They love your essence, not your output. And in their presence, you feel seen, not used. 4. Psychology of boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters for energy, intention, and truth. Carl Jung taught that wholeness requires integrating the shadow, the unconscious parts of ourselves that we often avoid. Being unavailable is not about ego, it's about reclaiming your shadow, saying, I have needs, I have limits, I deserve peace. In setting boundaries, you don't become cruel, you become conscious. And when you act consciously, you stop being a reflection of others' desires. You become a mirror of truth. 5. Society fears the withdrawn. There's a reason society romanticizes the giver, the pleaser, the one who never says no. But it fears the thinker, the quiet one, the person who walks away. Because withdrawal is power. It's the refusal to be defined by noise. It's the courage to be alone, not because you hate others, but because you finally love yourself enough to protect your soul. And that kind of power threatens those who feed on your silence, your time, your constant availability. So, when you stop being available, don't be surprised when everything changes. Some people will resist, others will disappear. But you will finally emerge, not as a mask, not as a people pleaser, but as your true, whole, untouchable self. As Jung might say, your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. The next chapter of your life begins not when you give more, but when you start saying, enough, I'm not available. If you want to explore more insights from history's greatest minds and ancient wisdom, hit that subscribe button. We are just getting started.